pour a cup of coffee and wake the kids. It's the Central Ohio High School Showcase with Derrick Owens Jr. Now here's your host of the COHSS, D.O. Jr.
Good morning. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS. We do this live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Hey, what's going on out there? Week 3 is in the books. A big week. I think some teams were looking to make statements last night, kind of separate themselves and kind of position after week 3 is, it's almost to the halfway point. Time to start positioning yourself, thinking about the postseason. Welcome to the Central Ohio High School Showcase. My name is Derrick Owens Jr., D.O. Jr. What's happening out there? If you are watching, hey, comment, please. Tell me what schools are you rooting for? What schools did they get it done for you last night? Did your team encounter a heartbreaking loss? Did your team do some things that you didn't even think they were possible of? Check in with me right here on the COHSS. Hey, we got a big show planned today. Big show from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine. I've got one of their reporters, Mike Drennan, in with me today. He's going to go through the pick six with me today. That's right, Mike Drennan. You know the name. That is right. I got dad in the building today, but son, you can catch him on Twitter. My name Donut. Mike Drennan Jr. with a huge game for Dublin Kaufman last night. We'll talk about that in the pick six, as well as Mike has knowledge and information on so many other high school football programs as well, and we're going to get into that with him a little bit later. Also, from Whitehall, quarterback, All-State last year, looking to repeat All-State again. Raymel Bird, looking to take that program to some places that they've never been before. Exciting times over in Whitehall. And look, man, I got a call early in the summer about Whitehall saying, hey, look out for us. We're going to be good. And that call was right on the money. So coming off a big win last night. So definitely we're going to have Raymel Bird in on the COHSS with us today. And we'll get a chance to talk to him about the season so far and what to look forward to coming up. So, as we do every Saturday morning to get you started, I got to let you know what happened last night. We start with the COHSS score rundown. So let's get to it. Thursday is when the week actually starts. And shout out to CW providing just an amazing opportunity for young men, young people to be seen on TV. It's fantastic what they do. So Thursday, the CW was on the Thursday Night Lights for Central Crossing and Grove City. Central Crossing, impressive. 38-14. Mike Drennan of Ohio Elite Prep Magazine was there, and we'll get a chance to talk about just the atmosphere and some of the players that he's seen that impressed him in that Thursday night game. But let's get to it. Friday, some big games. Dublin Kaufman, 45-14 over Dublin Jerome. Whew. Impressive. Dublin Kaufman is looking impressive to start the year. The Battle of Hilliard Davidson over Hilliard Bradley, 17-10. Westerville Central. I told you guys after week 1, this team is sneaky good, but not sneaky anymore. They're not sneaking up on anybody. They had a big win last night, 55-24 over Eastmore Academy. Worthington Kilbourne, they took the loss to Groveport, 35-14. Cincinnati Winton Woods and Upper Arlington had a flat-out shootout, 52-45. Winton Woods with the victory over Upper Arlington. And what I thought was a shocker, and I think many people woke up to this as well, Lincoln Heights with the victory over New Albany, 27-24. Pick Central, the machine out there. I mean, they're loaded. They know it. Big win over Division III state champion from last season, Trotwood Madison. Pick Central gets the victory, 42-19. Hamilton Township played Bexley over at the Fortress. That's an awesome environment. Great for those young people. 41-7, Hamilton Township with the victory. Gahanna with the victory over Springboro, 17-14. Hilliard Darby, 14-13 over Lancaster. Olentangy Orange big things I feel like were expected of Olentangy Orange coming into the season. They had one of the top players in America, Zach Harrison. He's been dealing with some injuries, hasn't really been able to get on the field and make an impact. Last night, it was all about the Mike Lowry show, and he, 42-7 over Olentangy Orange. Pick North and Mike Lowry. Shout out to my man Jack Sawyer over there on the defensive side and getting some run on offense as well. Just a great group of athletes over there. Pick North, impressive. Reynoldsburg, 36-6 over Marion Franklin. Reynoldsburg, we talked about them. Hey, watch out now. Olentangy, 53-33 over Holland Springfield. Olentangy Liberty, 23-14 over Marysville. Westerville North, they take the loss last night, 31-21. Mansfield Madison with the victory there. Westerville South over Thomas Worthington, 27-17. We'll talk about that game a little bit later in the pick six. Delaware over Westland, 30-7. Westland, they've been impressive early. They got some young players over there. They'll keep growing throughout the year. Dublin Scioto, 28-26 over Big Walnut. Toledo St. John, 32. Olentangy Berlin, 14. So after the big win in the game one, Olentangy Berlin takes 2 straight losses. Groveport, again, 35-14 over Worthington Kilbourne. Tays Valley, they play Canal Winchester. A lot of people talking about Canal Winchester. Watch out for this team. Canal Winchester gets the victory, 14-7. Franklin Heights, a big win over Briggs last night, 44-14. Newark shuts out Marion Harding, 21-0. Walnut Ridge, shout out Walnut Ridge, the 4-8-4-1. They look to be possibly the city's best. A big win over Beechcroft last night, 41-6. Centennial, a team that I'm interested to see going forward, especially in the City League North, after some growing last year. They have some really good players over there. Jalen Gilbert last night, the quarterback, with a big game. They win over Afrocentric, 47-16. Columbus East with a big victory over Columbus West. Shout out Columbus East, man. Looking to turn some corners around there. 40-6 over Columbus West. Columbus South. Don't read the score that you see in the paper. 95-6, that was not correct. 40-6, they get it done over Lyndon McKinley. Shout out to Coach Yates over there, really making an impact, really turning some corners. They off to a 3-0 start. I don't know if a lot of people seen that coming. South High, 3-0. Harvest Prep, coming back after losing Isaiah Mullins to Wisconsin. Daniel Bangura, the all-time leading rusher in Ohio high school history. They keep it moving. 52-14 over Mifflin. Northland over Granville, 28-21. Every game for Northland has been a dogfight, but they're 2-1. I'm sorry, they're 1-2, but they're going to make some noise when they get into the City League. So just keep an eye on Northland. Absolutely. Whitehall, 26-7 over Weststone, and again, we are going to have their quarterback later, Ramel Bird, with a big game last night. St. Charles, 35-6 over Independence. DeSales and Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, they got to it last night. And look, DeSales they're going for the playoffs. They're going for a state championship. They've loaded their schedule that way. They're not ducking anybody. They're playing everyone. They take the loss last night, 19-18. DeSales falls. But hey, their schedule is going to pay off for them in the end, no doubt about that. Watterson, coming off a big win last week, they get it done, 25-20 over Wash Jesuit, and that game was at Ohio Dominican. Watterson gets it done. They're looking impressive early in the year. Hamilton Township, we talked about, 41-7 over Bexley. Grandview over Rosecrans, 70-26. And as we get down through some more of the pick six, London has a running back, and sorry, his name escapes me, but let me tell you, London, their running back put up some big numbers last year, and he's impressive opening this year. They scored 55 last week, 57 this week, 57-7 over Washington Courthouse in a big rivalry game there. So they have some players that you might want to watch if you're out 70 West, taking a trip that way. All right. Let's get to some more of the score rundown here. Chillicothe over Watkins Memorial, 27-6. And that's going to wrap it up for us. So, look, if you're out there watching, comment. Let me know what's going on out there. Who you rooting for? Did your team get it done last night? What team are you representing? What school are you representing? Players. Tell me about some of the top players out there, some players that you think may be underrated that need to be showcased. We'd love to hear from you out there. So look, we're going to transition into, I think, my favorite part of the week so far until we get my man Young Raymel Bird on from Whitehall. But the COHSS Pick 6, let's get to it. I want to bring in my guy, Mike Drennan from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine. He's going to sit in with me. We're going to go over some of these games. It was a lot of rivalries, a lot of impressive performances from some young people that I want to talk about. And I want to start it off with Hilliard Bradley and Hilliard Davison. Look, back-to-back weeks, Hilliard Davison, you got the battle with Hilliard. You know, they came out of this 2-0. Coach Brian White over there, he's trying to get his program back. Like I said last week, a lot of people don't know, Hilliard Davison, 2 state championships in their program's history. So they are definitely legit, and they're looking to get back where they want to, where they want to go, where they want to be, which is one of the top teams, not only in the OCC, but in the state of Ohio as well. They have a halfback that's doing some big things over there, Christian Sweet. He's making plays all over the field, running back. And I just want to talk to you, Mike, just being in a situation where you're used to rivalries. Mm-hmm. This Hilliard Bradley, Hilliard Davison, Hilliard Darby, just that situation, and Hilliard Davison coming out 2-0. That's big for them to go ahead and sweep that series. Now they can go ahead and focus on the rest of the year going forward. What you think?
Yeah, they pretty much. I like Davison. I like Davison a lot. They've been tough for years, and for them to get that win last night and sweep the series, because I believe Bradley have sweep that series the last 2 years. They have beat both the Hilliard schools. So this year for Davison to come back to win the battle, Hilliard is huge for them, huge for that rivalry. Shout out to Davison.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, just looking forward, they're going to, they want to get back there. They want to compete with the Pick Centrals. They want to compete with the Dublin Kaufmans. And like you said, last year that had kind of went away. Hilliard Bradley making some plays. They had some great players last year. Corey Taylor, Davon Anderson, quarterback was actually, putting up big numbers. Gasell's, I believe his name was Cassell. So for Hilliard Bradley, it's going to be kind of a rebuilding, a retooling to say. You see, but look, it's hard to score against Davison. They put you in these type of games. 17-10 was the final score. So I know it was a great atmosphere last night.
Atmosphere.
Anytime the Hilliard schools get together, and I'm sure that's what we witnessed last night. So again, shout out to Hilliard Davison. I got to get out there and meet some of the guys, also Davison and Bradley, just so we can get them. Integrated within this show, man, because it's a great program, and I'd love to maybe sit down and talk to Coach Brian White. He's been over there forever. It's a fantastic program, man. So shout out to Hilliard Davison. That was game 1 of our Pick 6. Hilliard Davison been in there twice, 2-0. Maybe that's something to look forward to in the future. Davison, get at me, man. Keep y'all in here. This is a game, the second game of our Pick 6 that I want to talk about, because I felt like this was it was a big game for both of these programs. Westerville South at home versus Thomas Worthington. Okay, Thomas Worthington, they are looking to get off what I feel like is an incredible snide. They have had 18 consecutive losing seasons. Thomas Worthington, listen to me out there. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all to get there 500, a game over. No program deserves that. I know some good kids playing in that program. And as far as Westerville South, a program that has had some talent. Right. I mean, let's take it all the way back to when I was in school. Kajana Carter, shout out Kajana. And then recently, Jalen Gill, baseball player, football player, one of the best players in America at your Ohio State Buckeyes. So I felt like this game was definitely a big game for both programs to see how they can get it done. And the team that got the victory there was Westerville South. And Westerville South got the victory. Let me get here. 27-17. Okay, and Michael Manzare scored a pair of touchdowns for Westerville South. But look, they got a young player over there that I think is going to be opening some eyes here over the next couple years. And his name is Caden Sanders. He has a great family background as far as like some athletes that definitely have played and done some great things. And I think he's going to be one of the next ones that you're going to hear about when you start talking about Westerville South and just some of the great players. Mike, as far as Thomas Worthington is concerned, what is it going to take for them to put together the type of season where they can get to 500? Now, some they got looks like some players over there.
Right.
Can they make a run and get to 500 this year?
I believe they can. First of all, they just got to believe in each other. Like you said, they have like 18 straight losing seasons.
Yes.
So it's probably in their mental that they can't win. But all they got to do is believe in themselves. They got a nice running back over there, Dejon Davis, I believe that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
They got a couple good athletes over there.
I seen a linebacker with some size and some ability. So it's like you said, in high school, you can achieve if you believe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Let's use the old saying there.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a program like Thomas Worthington. They've had success in track. They got great runners and great athletes. So you know that they have some talent in that building.
Yeah, they got the athletes. They got the athletes.
Absolutely,
for
I
sure.
agree.
They just got to believe, keep grinding.
And let's talk about Westerville South for a minute, man. New coaching staff over there, first couple years. What do you think it'll take to get them back? Or do they have some young athletes that they can look forward to in the next year to make some impact?
Like you said, the kid Michael Mansoure, these last couple weeks I've been saying his name pretty much. He's putting up some pretty good stats this year. I kind of thought that when Jalen Gill leaving, everybody knows who Jalen Gills is. He was a big-time recruit. He's at Ohio State University right now. And I kind of figured since he left, they'd be kind of down. But the kid Michael Mansoure, he's been putting up some good stats this year. And I'm looking forward to do big things, Rick, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Shout out to Rick. That's me. That's what they known me back when I was younger. But yes, absolutely. So Westerville South, Thomas Worthington. Westerville South gets the victory. I'm rooting for Thomas Worthington to have some success this year. Westerville South, some young talent that you can look forward to. And maybe, who knows, maybe flirt with some playoffs this year. So let's move on into pick 6. Game number 3 in the picks. I'm sorry, that was game number 3 in the pick 6. Westerville Central versus Eastmoor. I thought this would be a high-scoring affair, and it was. But look, I came on earlier and I talked about one of the teams that I saw early in the year that impressed me, and that was Westerville Central. They've got a D1 linebacker over there, Dante Hunter. But the guy that really impressed me is a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, and people want to see that from him, and that's quarterback LeBron Davis.
Right.
Okay? This was a big-time matchup I felt last night. On the other side for Eastmoor, you had Savon Edwards. Michael Coleman did some good running last night. But I want to talk about Savon for a minute because Savon. We all know Savon.
Right.
He's a great player. He had some big-time numbers last night, 80 yards rushing, I believe, over 100 yards receiving. Savon can do it all. We know that.
Right.
Good in the return game. Just what is your envision for Eastmoor going forward? Can they use the running game and get back on the victory side of things? And how do you envision them playing out in the City League South Division?
First of all, like you said, Savon Edwards, super talented, beast, do everything on the field, run, pass, return game, big time. I believe he's a D1 kid. Michael Coleman, he's another one. Napoleon Harris. They got some talent over there, and I believe it's gonna be with them and 48-41 Walnut Ridge. That's gonna be the showdown this year in the City League. But I believe Eastmoor, they'll be a playoff team. Like I said, they got a lot of athletes, and they're gonna be a team to reckon with in the D2 playoffs for sure.
Absolutely, man. I definitely agree with that. Shout out to Eastmoor, man. Hold your head up. But let's talk about Westerville Central for a minute. This quarterback, LeBron Davis.
Wow.
He's making people take notice of his game. Like I said, we talked earlier last week about dealing with some injuries, and now he seems to be over that, and he is really taking command of this team and leading them, and they have enough talent to compete what is your outlook for Westerville Central? Just kind of looking forward as we get started early in the year here.
Listen, like you said, a lot of people were sleeping on them, but I had a chance to see him earlier this year in a scrimmage against Devin Kaufman. I like what I seen. I was impressed. Like you said, LeBron Davis. They got the big-time recruit, the Purdue commit, Dante Hunter. They got another D1 recruit that plays DB named Miles Williamson. They got a running back. I guess a lot of people haven't heard of him, but I've been following the last couple of weeks. His name is Justin Carter. Look out for him. Shout out to Justin Carter. I believe Westerville Central, they're a sleeper also, and they're going to do big when they get to the playoffs in that region too, for sure.
I totally agree.
I agree.
And shout out to my man Steve Hartley Jr. over there making some plays for Westerville Central. And, you know, I think that they know that they were slept on. I'm going to be honest, right? I don't do a preseason poll. I don't do any polls during the year. I like to see teams develop, find themselves, maybe, you know, get into some unknown players. But, hey, Westerville Central definitely they're here right now.
They're here.
LeBron Davis, Dante Hunter leading that group.
Yes, sir.
Look, a game you were at last night, a game you're close, you know, that's close to you, Dublin Kaufman versus Dublin Jerome, another rivalry, a big-time rivalry. Everybody was there last night. And let's just talk about it. Let's get it out there. Donut, he was amazing last night. Over 100 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. But look, it's bigger than Donut.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Mark Crabtree over there, he's got a team that's believing, okay? They're believing that they can really get it done. Just talk about the atmosphere last night. Talk about your son's performance, and just talk about where Crabtree thinks he can get this team.
First of all, the atmosphere was crazy. You know, I believe this is the first time Kaufman has played Jerome in about 5-6 years. The atmosphere was crazy. As far as the team, they're young. They're young. They're still growing. They're learning each week. And there's a lot of players. It's a few other players. We got a running back named Musa Diallo.
Okay.
Shout out to Musa. He's a great player. He's a junior right now. Quarterback Ethan Brown.
Okay.
They got some players over there, but they seem to always talk about Drennan, but there's more than him. So Coach Crabtree does a great job keeping the kids humble. They're going to have a pretty good season this year.
I believe so. And they always are right there. They're always 1-2 losses. But
Always.
I think and this is just for me talking, but I think what Donut gives them is an explosive element that they may not have had in some previous years that, you know, defenses have to worry about, and it can uplift a team. So he, after last year when he suffered the injuries, I know you are extremely proud to see what he's doing right now. And I think it's going to continue for him throughout the year. Let's talk about Dublin Jerome real quick.
Okay.
2 quick back-to-back losses. But what did you see last night as far as what their future is going to entail going forward throughout the season?
They actually came out. It was pretty tough in the beginning. You know, I like their quarterback, and I like the receiver number 1. They got some talent over there too. I believe they've been to the playoffs 2 straight years. Yeah, they got some talent over there, and I look for them, you know, to bounce back after this loss and have a successful season and possibly be in the playoffs too.
Yeah, it has been one of the top programs around Central Ohio. We'll see how that plays out. Let's get back into it. Look, this game I thought could be a barn burner, but it wasn't. Reynoldsburg versus Marion Franklin. Reynoldsburg, the home team. But let's talk about Reynoldsburg, man. D1 athletes all over the field.
All over the field.
They can get it done through the pass game. They can get it done on the run game. But what I want to talk about for Reynoldsburg, and let's talk about Marion Franklin, who took the loss last night, 36-6. Marion Franklin, I think their season was kind of derailed. The running back took the injury early in the year, so he's not going to be there. And that was like their main guy. He was one of the best running backs in the state. So that's going to be a tough loss for them to overcome. But I thought that they could compete with Reynoldsburg at least for a half, maybe 3 quarters, make it interesting. But do you think Marion Franklin will be able to compete in the City League South and be there to try to make a playoff run in the end?
Yes, I think they'll compete, but like I was saying before, D.O., I think it's going to come out between Walnut Ridge and Eastmore. But I think Marion Franklin, they're going to compete. They got a couple good athletes over there also. They got the quarterback, Kezion Brown, I believe his name is. Yes,
absolutely.
And Deontay, I can't think of his last name, but he's a good athlete. He plays receiver and DB. But like you said, it was a key loss when their running back went down in the preseason. But they'll bounce back. They'll have a good season, possibly make the playoffs in Division II, for sure.
I think it's going to be, look, Marion Franklin versus Walnut Ridge, end of the year. People have been pointing to that before the season started. I think Marion Franklin, if they can weather the storm, don't let this game beat you twice. Reynoldsburg's really good.
They are.
And let's talk about them for a minute, right? The defensive line. They brought in, not brought in, but Jeremiah Burton came over from Westerville North, came to Reynoldsburg. I think he is solidified up front what Des Cooper and the rest of those guys bring to the table. Good on the back end with Trayon Eddings. But the Mershawn Rice, he just kind of makes everything go. He opens everything up for Reynoldsburg. And they get a big victory last night, 36-6. What is your outlook? Can this team compete with the big dogs, Pick Central, Dublin Kaufman? Can they compete this year?
Dio, I've had a chance to see them a couple times, like during 7-on-7 and in the scrimmages. They by far, in my opinion, have the most athletes on one team in Central Ohio. I mean, they're loaded with D1 athletes. You got, like I said, big time Mershawn Rice. He's going to Purdue. They got Jay Ambergy, Jeremiah Burton that came over from Westerville North.
Yes.
They got, that's just to name a few. Like you said, Breon Eddings, he's a junior. DB lockdown. They got some athletes.
Des Cooper.
Desmond Cooper, I forget about him. The D1 athlete. He goes both ways. They got some fire over there, Dio.
3 touchdowns last night.
They got some fire. Look out for them. I picked them. They're gonna make a run in the playoffs for sure. They have athletes in abundance for real.
Hey, I agree, man. Reynoldsburg, let's get it going.
Reynoldsburg got some juice out there, Dio, for sure.
Absolutely,
they got some juice.
Absolutely. Let's get this kind of wrapped up. The Pick Six right here on the Central Ohio High School Showcase. If you're watching live, hey, comment. Tell me what's going on out there. Big show. We got Mike Drennan from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine. We just going through the Pick Six, and we got a big interview coming up here in a little bit. Ray Melberg from Whitehall, star quarterback, dual threat. He's been getting it done, leading his team this year. They're off to a 2-1 start. So that's coming up here in a minute. But Mike, let's get to the team, man. The team in Central Ohio, the state champs, the reigning champs, Pickerington Central. They were impressive again last night. 42-19 over Trotwood Madison. Trotwood Madison was defending D3 state champions. That's always a program that's loaded with talent as well. But Pick Central, man, just looking to make a statement, and they did last night, going on the road, getting a victory. Just your thoughts on Pick Central as just, the team they are, players everywhere. They're loaded, man.
Yes, they are. They're loaded. And you already know. Pick Central is Pick Central. It is what it is. And a lot of people thought they was going to be down this year, D.O., because they graduated a lot of seniors, but
they did.
Like big-time programs, you don't rebuild, you reload. And they're showing that from game one when they played again on ESPN against the Phillips Academy from Chicago.
Yes.
Just freaking blew them off the field. Pick Central, I believe they're going to make another state run for sure. For sure. They got big-time athletes, quarterback Michi Carter. Yeah. They got Terry Simeon on DB. They got Lorenzo Styles. They got D1 athletes everywhere, too. They got TCU commit Carter Johnson. Dwayne Carter's going to Duke.
Yes. Yes.
They'll make another state run for sure.
Yes.
For sure, Dio.
Jameer Jackson,
running back.
Hey.
Jason Best, the safety. They got some fire over here.
Yes.
They got some fire.
And it's like you said, after graduating what they did.
All those seniors, yes. It's just
offensive line, great defensive backs, Trent Gillison, Xavier Henderson last year. They are impressive.
Very impressive.
But I do want to say this. Pick Central, they need to stay focused, and I think Reynoldsburg is providing the motivation that they need to stay on track, because even though Pick Central is loaded, and you ran down the names, it is like a all-star team. It
is. It really is.
Pick Central is dominant. Let's not make any mistake. They are the top team in Central Ohio, and if not the state of Ohio right now.
I agree. I totally agree, Dio. I totally agree.
But Reynoldsburg can, and they do have the athletes to provide a game that I think we would all want to see in Central Ohio. I want to, not to jump off of Pick Central, but let's go back to Reynoldsburg. Do you think that they have surpassed Pick North as the #2 team in Central Ohio right now?
From what I've seen, yes. Like I said, they got athletes everywhere on the field, everywhere. Yes, so right now I would put them right behind Pick Central, in my opinion, and I would definitely pay to go to that game for sure. That's gonna be a banger, Dio, for sure. That's gonna be a banger. I would love to be there for sure.
If we get there. Hey, that was the Pick Six, the COHSS Pick Six. I want to thank my guests from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine, Mike Drennan, father of Mike Drennan Jr., My name Donut on Twitter. But like he told you, Dublin Kaufman, much more than that special young man. Watch out for Dublin Kaufman going forward as well. I want to thank Mike Drennan for coming and sitting in with me on this Pick 6. And we're going to move on, man. We're just going to talk about some more football and some more sports. And we're going to get ready for our next guest, Raymel Bird from Whitehall. So, yeah, look, it was, again, a big week, week 3. And we just going to see what to look forward to in week 4. I'm very excited. And we've got some big matchups coming up. But yes, but as far as, I just want to talk about some other sports. I got a chance to go and talk with a young lady that I'm going to be having on as well on the COHSS sometime next month. A great track athlete, a great volleyball player. Her name is Madison Martinez. She's at the at Gahanna, and you know, it's this is what I want to do. You know, bring these young people to you, their special stories, and but they had a big volleyball. She's playing volleyball right now. And they had a big volleyball victory over Pickerington North, and so watch out for the Gahanna Lady Lions over there on that volleyball as they get a big victory, and they're going to be strong in the tournament as that progresses. But enough volleyball. Let's get back into play. Football, like we like it around here on a Saturday morning in Columbus, Ohio. And look, I want to talk about Whitehall, okay? They started the season with a banger out of the gate against Westerville Central. They knew that was going to be a big game that they was going to need moving forward. You know, if they want to have some strong playoff consideration. The young man that is leading that team, they didn't get the victory against Westerville Central, but they have 2 victories back-to-back against some quality opponents after that, and they're off to a 2-1 start. And the young man that's leading them, Raymel Bird from Whitehall, quarterback. And just a pleasure to have him in the Central Ohio High School Showcase. How you doing, man? Good morning. What's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to get these dubs.
Yeah. Man. Look, all-state quarterback, but you are much more than a dual threat, which you are running the ball, passing the ball, but you can get it done kickoffs. I'll take the opening kickoff back to the house. But just a special dynamic athlete. But look, let's talk about Whitehall, man. Let's talk about where this team is right now. I want to talk about the opening game, just taking on the team that tough, and, you know, what you guys felt about coming out the gate. Next, the 2 victories you had since then, and where this team's focus is right now, and where they're going to have, what you're going to have looking forward, and just the kind of history that you're looking to make over at a program like Whitehall. So, like I said, we came out the gate against Westerville Central, right?
Yes,
what was the coaching staff's thoughts about playing a game like that week 1?
Our coaches told us it was going to be a hard game. We took everything serious the first week. We were coming out. We all thought we had it in the bag, but it was harder than we thought. I know a lot of people thought they were just going to take us out like at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We fought, and we put up a pretty good fight. They beat us by field goals, basically.
Yes, it was very, very intense game, and
yes,
you know, for you guys that's not on the Division I level like that, to play that team and play them that tough, I think opened up a lot of eyes.
Yes, sir.
And then you guys came back in week 2, taking on another, you know, team with some star-studded athletes, the Branhams, John and Khalil Branham. And not only did you hold your own, but you got the victory in that game.
Yes, sir.
And you had a big game, rushing the ball over 100 yards, making plays. So just talk about what it was like to get the first victory against a team like Northland, who has some top players.
We basically didn't want to wait. Like last year, we went 0-2 at the beginning of the season, and we was like, we can't start like that this year. This is a different year. We got to win at the beginning instead of, like, relying on the teams in the past.
Yeah.
Like later in the schedule.
Coming back late, yeah.
We had to get the dubs early. So they was a good team. They all swarmed to the ball. It was
a physical game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Absolutely. And I think that week 1 kind of gave you a taste of that, right?
Yes.
And got you ready for that. So I think that was definitely a big victory. And then last night, let's talk about it. You had a huge game last night. what I believe over 130 yards rushing. You had 4 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Let's just talk about that. When you have a game like that and you're able to get your teammates involved, how good does that feel? Let's talk about who you threw the touchdowns to last night, and let's just talk about now 2-1, looking forward. You know what I mean? Like, not looking forward too far, but to the next week.
Yes, sir.
How do you guys feel in the locker room? How did it feel last night?
Last night it was great. Christian Gordon, he came in clutch, catching the ball every time I threw it to him. He made me look good out there. And rushing the ball, our line did their job. We didn't play down to our opponent's level. We kept the high level going. And in the locker room, we were just all hype.
Felt good.
Yes, we was hype.
So let's talk about Whitehall. You guys are looking to go to the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive year.
Yes, sir.
That's never happened in the school's history. You guys have had some playoff teams before, but not necessarily that sustained success over a period of time. What would it mean to get Whitehall to the playoffs 3 years consecutively, you as their starter, their leader? What would it mean to you, to that program? I mean, because you're going to remember this forever.
Yes, sir.
When they talk about Whitehall football, they got to talk about Raymel Bird
Yes,
and
sir.
the job he did with his seniors and led that team. What would that mean to you?
For the 3rd year, we're trying to make it past week 1. We haven't made it past week 1 since we made it to the playoffs.
Okay.
And it's been a struggle because we are a playoff team, and we just got to come together because a lot of the times we separate, do our own thing, but we got to stick to the coach's plan and do what they tell us to do.
Yeah,
Be coachable.
Yeah, absolutely. Being coachable. I want to talk about a guy that's playing big in your defensive backfield, R.J. Burris. I mean, he is making plays in the Northland. He had a huge hit. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I
sir.
think kind of changed the momentum of that game. He had a pick 6 in that game. Can you just tell me how he's because you go against him as a quarterback.
Yes,
like, that's
sir.
your main guy in the secondary practicing against. What kind of player is he, and just what does he bring to the table from that secondary?
When I practice against him in practice, like, I try to do as much as possible to get him off, try to get in his head a little bit because I talk stuff to him and all that. And then, like, I'll try to look him off. But he's, like, good at knowing what the quarterback's going to do, and he's good at breaking on the ball.
Yeah.
So I try to get him off and then throw little short passes on him. But that's helping him and me.
Absolutely. And he's definitely a big-time player, isn't
Yes,
he?
sir.
R.J. Burris, man, let's give him a shout-out as well. Let's get into the coaching staff, the guys that are leading you. You know, how comfortable is this staff, not only with you as players with them, but them with you guys? Coach Anderson, offensive line coach,
Yes, sir.
he's been saying that Whitehall is going to be good this year. You guys need to watch out for Whitehall. And he was right. You know what I mean? So just talk about the camaraderie between the group, the coaching staff and the players, and just how that's helping you guys this year going forward.
We all got that one coach that's on a whole nother level than the players. And Coach Anderson is that coach. He gets us where we need to be before the game in the locker room. If the locker room's silent, he'll come in and make us all hype, make us – he's a great coach. Coach Lightfoot, he knows what he's doing. Like, he got us.
Yeah, he got you guys ready, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a big year for Whitehall. So let's talk about your athletic background personally, you. Like, has it been football your whole life? What about basketball, other sports? Has it always been this love for football that's got you where you are right now as an all-state athlete?
I also run track. I play basketball, but I played varsity basketball last year, but not a lot because basketball ain't a big thing for me.
Okay, okay.
It's not as exciting. It doesn't give me that adrenaline rush.
Yes, right.
And I do high jump and track. I love doing high jump.
High jump is listen, to do that. I was an X-track athlete. I didn't do anything jumping, not the long jump, not the high jump. I didn't have those, that kind of athletic ability there. But also getting on the track to run. That's one thing you want to do as well. They're going to love that at the next level. They look for athletes that can, to run.
Yes,
And
sir.
you can run. You've been running. You one of the top dual threat quarterbacks, not only in Central Ohio, but in the state of Ohio. So, look, as we get a chance to just talk about, again, your progression throughout this season, let's talk about your family. great family you have. You know, you got your mom here today. You got your girlfriend here today. But let's talk about Dad. You know, me and Dad went to the same high school, South High School. What kind of influence? And you can see him at the game. He's right there, jersey on, #1, in massive support. No other way that it should be. Can you just talk about the impact that he has had, you know, getting you to this point, having the opportunity to have a great high school career and opportunity to play on the next level?
My dad, he comes off work. He works all the time. He comes home from work. Let's go to the field right now. Let's work on your passing, your steps, ladder drills. He comes straight home from work and do that with me. We go to the field, get some work in. We go home, wake up, same routine all summer.
Yeah. I mean, just talk about the bonding that creates. You know what I mean? Like he almost thinks like you're out there on the field. He knows what's going on too, right?
He's still young. He's still young. And he got a lot in him. He run routes for me and stuff. He's still young, and him doing that with me, it feels like he's my dad and coach. Like,
that's a beautiful thing to have, isn't it? You feel like you can trust him, and you know he's got an investment in you, which is a positive. You know what I mean? Because it's going to allow you to continue your education and everything at the next level.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's you know, you love to hear that father-son bond. I had it with my dad as well, and that's what it's all about. So let's talk about big long-term goals. Okay, you brought up that you guys want to win a game in the playoffs. Let's talk about that. What would it feel like? Is Whitehall going to get it done right here on the Central Ohio High School Showcase? I got Raymel Bird, quarterback, Whitehall. Do you guys have the talent this year, not only to get to the playoffs, but over that hump, getting that first victory? Is that the ultimate goal for this team this year?
That's our goal, but our goal is to make it past week 11, make it past week 12, to do something different that Whitehall hasn't done. And as I look at our banners, they had a banner for going, I think it was 12-1. That means they made it to week 2. Week 12.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make it past week 12. We don't want to just settle.
Absolutely. So look, let's wrap your interview up. I love to do this, man. Let's shout out your teammates, your coaches, your family, all the people that you love that have been there to help you get to this point. All-state quarterback Raymel Bird of Whitehall. Thank you again for coming and joining us on the show today. Let's shout them out, man. Teammates, go ahead.
Christian Gordon, alumni, O.C. Wellman. That was my go-to last year. John Stuckey. On the defensive side, Rasheed Muhammad, Keon Freeman, R.J. Barris, Isaiah Oni. They all hold it down for me.
They all hold it down for you, man.
My linemen.
Yeah, what
all
the linemen? All right, the linemen. Look, linemen don't get enough credit, do they?
They don't.
And look, I'm just as much as fault as that. Like, I called you. I could have called a lineman.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
mean?
Donuts.
Huh?
I owe them donuts.
Are you going to Reese's? You got to get Reese's.
Yeah, of course.
You got to get Reese's
of course.
donuts, right?
Yes.
Not Krispy Kreme.
Reese's.
Not.
Yes.
Okay, as long as we clear on that.
We got to go to Reese's.
At Whitehall, right up the street, I assume that there's been a couple problems with, not problems, but I can assume that some teachers have brought in some donuts and some kids went, hey, Reese's donuts.
Yes.
For sure. Shout out to Reese's, definitely.
Yes.
So, and then your family, man, your mom, your dad,
yes.
Shout them out, man.
My mom, my dad, my brother for the support, my cousins coming out helping me with field work. They all support me to the fullest. I have a whole section of my family in the crowd every game. Like, it just feels good to come out on the field and look up in the stands and see a whole bunch of people there for me. Feels great.
Absolutely, man. And you've been giving them something to cheer about, and I think there's more cheering to come in this football season. So there you have it. A Raymel Bird, Whitehall quarterback, all-state athlete, track and field, high jump, loves Reese's, as do I. You know what I mean? This is a solid young man here. So if you have the opportunity to catch a Whitehall game, if they play your favorite team, you want to make sure you keep an eye on this young man. Again, he does it in the kick return game. He's not just pretty boy quarterback. He gets it in all over the field. So Whitehall, 2-1, moving forward. Watch out for Whitehall rest of the year. So look, it's Derrick Owens Jr., the Central Ohio High School Showcase, man. I want to thank everybody that's been rocking with me today. Next week, we're going to have a big week again. Look to bring you another guest. And I just look, what a show today. Mike Drennan from Ohio Elite Prep magazine telling you that Dublin Kaufman is much more than Mike Drennan Jr. We talked about big-time performances. Mike Lowry last night, 6 touchdown passes. He's one of the top quarterbacks in Central Ohio. He's looking to lead Pick North to some unprecedented performances and peaks in the football season this year. We talked about Pickerington Central just being completely dominant. Demetric Crenshaw, the quarterback, Terry Sumwell making plays all over the field, defensively, offensively. His senior year, he's making plays out there. He's giving it all he got in this last year. Dwayne Carter Johnson, they're loaded on the defensive side of the ball. That's a team. I mean, you're going to see them all the way through. Reynoldsburg, we talked about. Reynoldsburg, I feel like, is super, super impressive. I feel like if there's a team out there that can match up with Pickerington Central physically, this is going to be the team that, that has the opportunity. Westerville Central, we talked about. Sneaky good. They got a quarterback over there that's understanding his game, seeing the field well, getting people involved. They're going to be a problem moving forward as well. The season is off, man. Football is off and running. Cross country. I was looking at some of the cross country times out there. If you are a runner, please go look at this. It's incredible how many young cross country runners, both on the men's and women's side, are putting up incredible times. I mean, Central Ohio, some of the best runners in America in high school right here. Hilliard Davison and Thomas Worthington and Pickerington North. It's just amazing out there. Volleyball is a sport that I want to get in. I want to see some volleyball. I'm going to see some volleyball. I told you, later on next month, we're going to have one of the top volleyball players in the nation that goes to Gahanna, Madison Martinez. I got a chance to talk to her and her family, beautiful family. That'll be a really impressive interview. She's getting recruited by some of the top teams in America in track and field, 2-sport athlete. Shout out again to my guy Otis Winston and his daughter Promise over at Westerville South. So yeah, volleyball is a big sport. Soccer is another sport I want to get to. Dublin Kaufman, that's a great program out there, and just teams really using the pitch to not only utilize on soccer, but they're finding athletes there as well. But yes, it's been the Central Ohio High School Showcase. Again, my name is Derrick Owens Jr. I want to shout out to my man, always Producer G, man, for giving me this beautiful platform to make these things happen on. High school sports is off and running. Young people, I want to remind you out there, man, look, if you haven't taken your tests, ACT, SAT, all of that stuff, please get out there and take that. Coaches are watching. They want to bring you to a school. They need you to do your part. Stay focused in school. Get on your grades. Let's make this happen out here, man. It's enough for everybody to get something to eat. Let's all do our part. The COHSS, man. I'll see y'all next week. As always, when I sign out, be good. Holla.